Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 8, an abandoned oil well in a Newport Beach neighborhood has sparked a local emergency and could even lead to homes being torn down. Good evening, everybody. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas.
And I'm Phil Schuman. Thanks very much for joining us. We knew the leak was bad, but maybe not this bad.
Officials had warned of construction noise and parking disruptions to seal the leak. But do homes have to be demolished as well? Fox 11's Ed Lasco sees live there tonight in Newport Beach with the latest. Ed?
And Marla, all of this has the city of Newport Beach issuing a local emergency for this area because of that old oil well. And what they had to do was bring in a big oil rig to try to clean up the mess. Al, take us into the story. Well, we're on 36th Avenue here. This is right off Balboa Boulevard. 36th Street, actually, is what they call it down here in the peninsula. All the heavy equipment there, the overlights. More heavy equipment down there, and all the way at the end of the block, that is the target of what we're talking about here. That is an oil rig there. Look at that. When's the last time you've seen something like that right in the middle of a neighborhood, right in the middle of the Balboa Peninsula here? Unbelievable. Better look. Let's go to the video. Check it out. Closer look, I should tell you. There it is, 110 feet tall, this oil rig, and it's set over that old abandoned oil well that they dug back in the 1920s. They call it an orphan well because after they dug it a couple of years later, they just abandoned that well because it was only producing a very thick crude oil that was very expensive to refine. It wasn't that high-grade crude, so they abandoned it. And you know what? It was dormant up until the last couple of months. In October, it started to send up methane gas fumes into one of the homes nearby. And then shortly after that, some of that thick, oozing crude oil started to come up through the floorboards. So you have not one, but two homes at the center here that have been red tagged. Sadly, may have to be destroyed, and the city says this pumping will go on 24/7, and the neighbors say it's really been a nightmare. Listen.
I think it's very sad for the people whose house has been impacted. My understanding is they've lived here for decades, and suddenly in October they smell methane, and now they've got oil oozing, and it's just super sad for them and sad for the neighbors in the immediate vicinity. They're drilling down, I think, 800 feet, and it's kind of just a hum. It's not horribly loud, but I'm sure the people in the houses immediately adjacent might say otherwise. But I'm actually amazed at how not disruptive it is. There's construction noise around here that's louder.
And now you're looking live at that oil rig, and she's right. You can hear that constant hum. The city says they're going to be digging here 24/7 for the next 9 days. They want to get this job done, completed before Christmas time. And their plan is 1,000 feet down. They'll clean out the well, then seal it with a special type of concrete. But the concern also, when you think about it, you know, Newport Beach in this area, the peninsula, very tightly compacted with all these nice homes. And then right over there, about a block or two over, on the other side, I should say, on the other side of this playground, block or two over, is the channel. And the last thing you can imagine is they want any of this old oil to seep into the waterway itself. So there's a lot at stake here. Certainly the homes, two of them affected at this point, but the drilling continues here day and night.
So Ed,
Sorry, Ed, right on that shot, and when your photographer was zooming out, literally, I mean, it just goes to show what a neighbor, I mean, obviously you're in a residential neighborhood, but you see the window with the light on the left-hand corner there? I mean, it's a family. You could literally see presumably the father and a son inside, a young boy playing around on this Tuesday night, and then that big oil rig, and you can hear the hum.
Oh, yeah, we are a block away. There's a security down here, and they're keeping a lot of folks away for their own security, except for the folks who live right on this street. But yet, that hum is constant. Folks are going about. They're decorating. They're hoping that this will be completed by Christmas time. They're being good-natured. They're not angry about it, saying, you know, they got to clean it up because the scenario could be, if it continues to leak, our homes could be affected. You're only like a block away, half a block away when you look at what Al is showing us there. So, yeah, there's a lot at stake here, and that's why the city is hitting it with all they can at this point.
So why could these homes possibly have to be demolished?
Well, I'm thinking, I'm not a civil engineer, but I'm just thinking with common sense. You've got oil coming up, you got methane gas leaking. There, I would imagine the city's probably red tagging them, saying that they've been compromised, and that's the fact. I do understand that city officials have been talking to those homeowners. Some of them have been in this neighborhood for decades on end, you know, and they certainly don't want to have to deal with this, but the city's saying they can't guarantee the safety of those homes. At least that's from my perspective.
All right, Ed, thank you.
All right, Ed.
And to photographer Al Rupp,
You bet.
appreciate you.
Uh-huh.
Developing tonight, a deadly shooting at Kentucky State University has left one student dead and another critically injured. This happened at a residence hall today. It was an isolated incident. The suspect, who is not a student, is in custody. This is the second shooting in the area in the past 4 months. Well, tonight the music world is shaken by the gruesome death of Grammy-nominated gospel singer Jubilant Sykes.
Police say he was killed by his own son at their Santa Monica home. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez with this emotional story.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water?
Jubilant Sykes singing at Pacific Crossroads Church.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to the blind man?
The well-known voice so many are talking about after finding out Santa Monica police found him stabbed to death at his home last night.
Also in the home, officers located the suspect, who is the son of the victim, who has been identified as Micah Sykes, age 31. He cooperated with investigators and was arrested and taken into custody without incident.
I'm in shock. This community is in shock. My family's in shock. We're in shock. I can't talk about the son. Jubilant was a wonderful person.
It is at least the fourth case of patricide recently. In Simi Valley, police say well-known anesthesiologist Eric Cordes and his wife were fatally gunned down in their garage by his son on December 3rd. The week before, 47-year-old Juan Gonzalez was arrested on suspicion of killing his 70-year-old father in Paris. And in this case, Sykes' wife is speaking with investigators.
The family did disclose that the suspect does have a history of mental illness, but at this time we don't know if that was a contributing factor to what took place.
It's devastating to the community. He is so well known all around the world. People are calling me now, just crying.
Calling Calvary Baptist Church, just up the street from Sykes' house. His family has been attending for generations.
Beautiful family. That's the house his mother and father had. And they moved there, and they constructed and did everything, redid everything. They stayed in the community.
The man had a beautiful spirit, a beautiful heart. And I'm telling you, the man can sing.
The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again.
The church community will miss him. The world will miss him because he was known around the world.
Oh, Mary, did you know?
In Santa Monica, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
A memorial service held today for Alhambra police officer Alex Sanders. He was the officer killed in that pursuit crash with an allegedly stolen SUV. A procession carrying Officer Sanders' body arriving at Shepherd Church in Porter Ranch in the San Fernando Valley this morning. Law enforcement, city officials, family, friends lining the path for the officer's casket. Sanders was with the department for 8 months. He'd spent a year with Long Beach PD. He leaves behind his fiancée, 2 younger sisters, and his brother.
Only on Fox 11 now, a viral video sparks outrage accusing a man of being an ICE agent and stealing a truck. But the real story is far from what you've seen online.
Let's go live to Fox 11's Gina Silva. She's in Pomona with this unusual story. Gina.
That's right. You know, this is a reminder to verify what you see online before you start sharing it, because this story is clearly a misunderstanding that led to real-life harassment.
You stole the truck, and I got you on video.
The videos on social media went viral.
They took him in, processed him, and then came back 2 hours later and took the truck.
Activists accused this man, Chad Conley, of being an ICE agent who arrested a man in Anaheim and then stole his truck. Oh, they're jumping on his car recorded?
I am recording.
The problem is the claims weren't true, but Chad says he's still being targeted by people who saw the viral videos and never heard the real story.
I tried quickly to explain to them right off the bat, we're not ICE. We don't hide. You see our tattoos, you see my face. I don't wear a mask. You can see our license plates. We're not exempt.
Chad is a bail bondsman in Pomona. On December 2nd, he arrested the man who owns this truck. Hours later, Chad says he drove away in that truck because it was being held as collateral. Authorities confirmed it had nothing to do with an ICE apprehension.
He skipped on bail, but they didn't want to hear it. They see it, they're angry, and that's it. They think, who has that power?
People followed Chad to his gym and demanded he return the truck. He's doing this interview in hopes the harassment will stop and to urge people not to believe everything they see on social media.
And it's because they assume things, and there are some people that want to make big hits on the internet, so they'll put anything out there. And right now is really when we need the truth. I mean, the truth couldn't be so much more opposite, because I actually help immigrants.
And some of the videos that got Chad in trouble, they are still online and they are still being shared. He's hoping that this story will hopefully finally set the record straight. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Hey, Gina, any response from the initial influencer activist who put this out there?
No, there was an additional video that was posted where the same video is used, but the wording changed and said he's actually, a bondsman. And it didn't really matter because the initial video is still online and it's still being shared. It kind of, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, telling people to, double check and verify, and be skeptical about what you see online is, I guess you can't say that enough.
No, it's a message that we have to scream from the rooftops these days.
Absolutely. And, you add to that AI, there are so many videos out there that, even journalists are being tricked by them. And you're like, is that real or is that fake? But in this case, it wasn't AI. It was really Chad who was taking the truck, and he did make the arrest. And that's because the man was a fugitive and the truck was collateral. But people immediately thought he was arresting someone. He was part of ICE and then stealing the truck. And so if you are putting that out there, you can understand why some people would be very upset with that.
Well, Gina's real. We know that.
Yes, she is. She does incredible reporting. Everything she puts out there, take it.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Gina. A new study says bullying is up and attendance is down as ICE raids create a climate of distress on school campuses. The report by researchers at UCLA and UC Riverside found 70% of public high school principals are reporting students from immigrant families express fears about ICE. 1 in 3 principals said students from immigrant families have been bullied, and about 64% of the principals said their attendance has also dropped, and there's been a decline in enrollment. LA Unified, in fact, says enrollment is down about 4% since the ICE raids began. In a statement, LAUSD said, quote, "We have strengthened safety measures added around schools, includes enhanced communication with various entities, visible presence in impacted communities, and rapid response protocols should enforcement activity occur."
Developing tonight, reports of a massive fight involving about 100 students outside a middle school in Linwood. This video from the Citizen app was shot outside Cesar Chavez School on Abbott Road. Police and firefighters on the scene. No word yet on injuries or what sparked the brawl.
A follow-up to a story we first brought you last night. The city of Malibu now one step closer to having its own school district.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Silverstein?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Cheers broke out last night as the city council approved a plan to split from the Santa Monica Malibu School District. The school board approved that separation plan last week. The proposal outlines how taxes, staff, and resources will be divided. Supporters say this will let each district focus on its unique needs.
Create this opportunity to launch an independent Malibu Unified School District that will offer us local control and will finally prioritize Malibu students and teachers.
It'll be a reason for young families to choose Malibu, not just billionaires for their second or third homes, but actual young families with kids coming to Malibu because we have something great to offer.
Well, the split is not official yet. State and county officials still have to approve it, and special laws have to be passed. And remember, we talked about this last night, Marla. It's kind of hard to believe, but this may not actually happen until 2029.
So many more approvals they have to go through.
I guess a lot.
Since it's 4 more years. Wow. All right, live look at LAX backing up right there, but clear skies on this Tuesday night. And when I walked outside mid-morning today, Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger, it felt like somebody turned the heater on outside.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of deceiving too, because really early, just before the sun is up, a little bit on the cool side, and then those temperatures just ramp up real quickly. That'll be the case again tomorrow, as it's feeling more like summer than winter here in December. Here's a look at our numbers right now. So a lot of 60s and some 70s on the map. We had widespread 80s for high temperatures today. As we continue through the evening hours here, those temps will just gradually go down. Notice once we get into the early morning hours tomorrow, we do fall down into the 50s. But again, tomorrow, those temps ramp up big time. From 8 a.m. to noon, it's going to jump up about 20 degrees. We'll top out in the lower part of the 80s tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Tomorrow will be our last day with widespread 80s. Temperatures do start to back off a little bit as we go Thursday, but even more so Friday and into the weekend, which we'll talk more about a little bit later on. We also have this area of high pressure overhead, which is why we're so warm and dry. And because of its position right now, notice the winds, they go clockwise around it. So we're finding the offshore Santa Ana wind going on right now, with a weak Santa Ana wind event continuing into tomorrow. Once this high gets directly over us, those Santa Ana winds kind of shut off in a couple of days, and that's part of the reason why our temperatures will start to back down. We'll talk more about that. We'll have the 7-day forecast coming up a little later. For now, though, back to you.
All right, Adam, thank you. Still ahead at 8. A murder suspect on the run, accused of killing a rapper during a robbery. Police say he is hiding right here in L.A.
Plus, a local business owner, frustrated, says a nearby homeless encampment is putting his livelihood at risk. He has a plan to fight back. Tonight, police searching for a murder suspect believed to be in L.A. 32-year-old Trayvon Palmer, accused of killing rapper Chris King Cheeks during a robbery outside a Nashville recording studio. This goes back to April of last year. Cheeks died, a friend was injured. 2 other suspects, Adrian Cameron Jr. and Amir Carroll, have already been arrested. one in LA, the other in Nashville, both still in custody. And anyone with information on Palmer is urged to contact either the police or the U.S. Marshals.
Sky Fox over this scene of a deadly accident involving a Metrolink train. This happened just after 4 this afternoon on Branford and San Fernando. This is in Pacoima. No word of the person who died, but you can see emergency crews near the covered body. It remains unclear how the victim managed to get struck by the train. We are working to get more details on what happened, and now, of course, this is under investigation by the LAPD. LA City Council instructs city departments to implement a new state law to demolish abandoned RVs.
The move comes as LA businesses continue to deal with almost out of control homeless encampments. Fox 11's Nick Garcia tonight with a story you'll see only on Fox 11.
A3 Visual is a well-oiled machine manufacturing banners and signs for corporate and sporting events. But just outside, a homeless encampment makes coming to work here difficult for owner Craig First and his staff.
There's a fire going right now, and this guy is burning something.
My family purchased this property a long time ago, and our intention was to stay here. And that's at risk right now.
The business sits right along the National Boulevard on-ramp to the 10 freeway just north of Culver City.
This is an active on-ramp, and these are lanes of traffic that cars are supposed to be driving in. This mess has been here for over a month, exactly like this.
The land the encampment sits on belongs to Caltrans.
We're all exposed to threats every time we come and leave our work. As an example, the other day, one of the homeless people who was living here came out with a metal pipe and chased off some of my employees, and we were scared.
Coincidentally, as we were speaking with Craig, Caltrans crews were on site cleaning it up. He says this is after more than 2 months of reaching out to the state agency. In another effort to address homelessness, the LA City Council voted to start implementing a new state law allowing the removal and demolition of abandoned RVs worth less than $4,000. As we've reported, people often live in the RVs, which remain parked on the streets for months or years at a time. For Craig, he's hopeful the encampment won't return, but tells us he's not holding his breath. Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
All right, coming up, looking for a unique way to unwind.
Yes, we are. A cozy cat lounge in Orange County lets you relax with dozens of adoptable cats and kittens. Looking for a perfect day in the OC?
Oh, it's a good day when we can get Phil Schumann to purr. A Catnap hangout in Huntington Beach is a cozy cat lounge. Volunteers call it a little feline jungle where you can relax, play, and meet more than 50 adoptable cats and kittens. It features separate spaces for kittens, shy cats, and adult cats to roam. They also host fun events like cat yoga and movie nights. Muno from Yo Gabba Gabba even paid a visit. Founded by animal lover Jane Tolley, this nonprofit relies on donations and volunteers to care for the cats and kittens. Visit their website to help give these furry friends a second chance.
Weather is sponsored by My Home Sold.
Adam Kruger's thinking I could take about 5 or 6 of those home to the family.
Why not, Adam?
I'd be sneezing my head off.
Oh, are you allergic as well?
Like a moderate allergy to cats. Yeah,
Yes.
Like I can't be around it, but they get me a little bit. So I would not be at that location, but it looks very cool. Okay, now let's talk about our weather. So we've got beautiful conditions, in my opinion. Yes, it's on the warm side for this time of year, but not a whole lot of change other than a slight drop in our temps towards the end of the week. Let's recap today. All the orange, that's where we had 80s. A lot of us had 80s, basically. Really warm. 60s would be more common for this time of year. So temps running well above normal today and again tomorrow with another round of 80s for most of us. We also have a weak Santa Ana wind event going on right now. No wind advisories, but some spots a little bit gusty. We'll outline them for you in a moment. And again, there's that cooling trend as we head into the end of the week and even more so into the weekend. Temperatures overnight tonight will be for December on the mild side. Lows for a lot of us in the 50s. And then again, highs tomorrow. This map looks a lot like the one I started with all that orange between the coast and the mountains. That means high temperatures in the 80s. Even along the coast, some spots will hit 80 degrees, but inland well into the 80s. Valleys and Inland Empire, you got mid and maybe some upper 80s in those locations as well. Meanwhile, the weather could not be more different up on the northern part of the West Coast. Oregon, Washington, they have a persistent atmospheric river going on right now. So wet weather's been happening there for at least the last few days. It will continue for a few more days. Flooding is a possibility. Heavy snow up in the mountains. We've got high pressure here that's keeping us warm and dry, but also with the position of the high right here, notice the winds going around it. That's giving us the offshore or Santa Ana wind. So that'll hang around through tomorrow. And then that kind of tapers off on Thursday once that high gets more so directly over us. So when we look at the forecast wind gusts here, you're going to see some red to even purple spots showing up. So these are going to be those typical Santa Ana wind-prone areas where the winds will be strongest. So, for example, the Santa Susana Mountains, some areas up towards Santa Clarita, some of the canyons there, and then also the passes where the highways head into and out of the Inland Empire. That's another spot where the winds will be a little bit breezy, maybe gusting over 25 or so. All right, now Futurecast will show, again, that high pressure pretty much anchored over California for a while. That's keeping the storm track up here. That's where all the wet weather is going to be. This weekend, that high moves away, which allows our temperatures to back off a little bit. And then as we go into next week, we see the storm track shift a little farther south, so maybe Northern California getting a little more rain, but we are likely to remain dry. It looks that way to me for at least the next 10 days or so, but probably even beyond that. All right, high temperatures for each day coming up here. This is for LA and Inland Orange County. And for context, I put the average there. 68 degrees is the average for this time of year. So we're way above that again tomorrow. We're still pretty warm Thursday, Friday in the upper 70s, Saturday 74, Sunday 71. That's our coolest day, and it's still pretty nice. For the coast, 70s for a couple of days, 60s Friday and the weekend. For the valleys and the Inland Empire, it is 80s through the end of this work week, 79 on Saturday, Sunday down to 75, kind of holding in the mid-70s into Tuesday of next week. Back to you.
Thank you. Still ahead here, big developments in the Ghislaine Maxwell case, why a federal judge is ordering key documents unsealed, and what they could reveal about Jeffrey Epstein.
Plus, major changes could be coming to campaign finance rules, why the Supreme Court's latest case could give political parties more money than ever before.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Tonight, we're learning new details about a controversial plan for proposed housing development.
A city councilwoman was sworn in tonight as mayor despite ties to that controversial project. Let's go live to Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf in Santa Monica with more tonight. Matthew?
Well, a lot of people there tonight just voicing their support. Others not so much, but it was very crowded inside. Take a look.
My honor to be asked to swear in a very good friend, Santa Monica's new mayor, Carolyn Terosas. And so without further ado, if you'll repeat after me.
There it is, Santa Monica's new mayor, Carolyn Terosas. It's essentially just a change in title, though, because the mayor position rotates in Santa Monica, but she does take the helm under controversy. Some residents question her involvement in a stalled plan to convert 2 high-end Ocean Avenue properties into housing for those with severe mental illness. She has denied her previous knowledge, though, but in new emails obtained by Fox 11, it shows that she exchanged messages about the project last December, about a year before residents found out. Tonight, some residents are concerned by this. Others feel like Terosas, who is also the policy director for LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell, is best for the job as mayor.
I think it's clear that she hasn't been completely honest with us about her involvement with Ocean Avenue projects, and I feel that considering her position at LA County and now being mayor of our city, you know, that she'll be working more for the LA County than she will be for our city.
I don't involve myself in like hearsay, and I don't really know. What I do know, though, is Carolyn is a good human being who's genuine, and she's going to put the city first.
So those controversial projects on Ocean Avenue were supposed to be discussed tonight at the city council meeting, but it was voted off of the agenda. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Matthew, I thought, though, I'm thinking about the same project. All those were already killed by the county.
Yeah, so this was put on pause about a week after our reporting, and then if you recall, during the week of Thanksgiving, there was another project that was put in where residents from out of state allegedly were moved in kind of in the dark of night for another sort of interim housing for sober living, transitional living facility. Since then, that project has also been put on pause, but this kind of back and forth with these properties on Ocean Avenue has continued.
Where did those people go then, if it was put on pause and yet they've been moved out here?
Yeah, so those from the sober transitional living facility have been sent to other facilities across the LA area, but really that remains unknown at this point. We don't know exactly where they are. I did get a message from someone claiming to be in Sherman Oaks, but there's other reports of more of those people being in Thousand Oaks. We really, it's all up in the air at this point.
Plus, I mean, Ocean Ave, you're talking about like prime real estate that's worth a fortune that wouldn't typically be used for those types of functions.
Yeah, that's why there was so much outrage when this project was first brought up, because residents in the area felt like they didn't know about it, had no chance to really voice their displeasure, and then it was on Ocean Avenue, which is a place that a lot of people felt like it didn't belong.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll have to follow that one. Thank you, Matthew. New tonight, giving back in a big way. Los Angeles has earned the title of the most generous community in the United States, California topping the charts as the most giving state. Here's one example. This is according to GoFundMe. Pasadena firefighter paramedic Armin Hagopian, now 29, one of so many who responded to the Eaton fire, was severely injured in an off-duty motorcycle crash back in May. It left him paralyzed from the waist down. The GoFundMe campaign raised almost $185,000 for him, helping him, for example, with treatments not covered by insurance. I spoke with him this afternoon.
I'm forever grateful for what my coworkers and the community has done for me. I mean, even though it hasn't replaced my income and it hasn't given me my job back, it's done more than a lot
than you could ever imagine. People are helping you because you had a career helping people.
Exactly.
Now, the two major January wildfires resulted in the largest single-day donation ever to GoFundMe, more than $8 million. In fact, about $200 million were raised on that platform from what was called the 2025 Wildfire Relief Funds, one of the top 15 fundraisers in GoFundMe history. Another area that resulted in a lot of donations, the immigration crackdown, not just from here in Southern California, but around the country. GoFundMe, started back in 2010, is now the largest crowdfunding platform out there.
I mean, I think for us, it feels as though we so often hear stories of people turning away from each other, that this Year in Help report is really an example of the best of us and shows that there are people doing great things on each other's behalf every day. In fact, 2.5 times every second around the world.
So in addition to needing money for disaster recovery or injuries or crimes, the report also found that monthly bills has become the second largest category of need for things like rent, utilities, groceries, which is not that surprising. I didn't really realize that was a way you could contribute on GoFundMe, but you can.
But as it relates to the firefighter, I mean, this has made a significant difference in his recovery.
Oh, yeah. It's enabled him to get medical treatments, like out of the country, things that aren't covered by insurance. It might be considered experimental here. Help with, paying the mortgage on his house so he doesn't lose it. Things like that. I mean, that, you went from six-figure income to zero income.
Gosh.
So he had a great attitude.
Yes.
He's working hard in rehab, and
we have to follow up.
Is very thankful for the help. Yeah.
All right, new tonight, it is a decision that could reshape elections as we know them. The Supreme Court is taking up a case that could rewrite campaign finance rules. Justices heard arguments today on whether to remove limits on how much political parties can coordinate their spending with candidates. Republicans say the current rules restrict free speech. Democrats argue dropping those limits would let big money drown out small donors. The case, brought by GOP committees and Vice President J.D. Vance, could let parties spend unlimited amounts on candidates' ads at lower rates, potentially shifting power away from super PACs. A decision is expected by July. Big changes coming from millions of student loan borrowers. President Biden's student loan repayment plan, known as SAVE, is officially ending. A legal settlement announced by the Education Department will block new enrollments, deny pending applications, and move current borrowers to other plans. SAVE, which based payments on income, was praised as the most affordable option. The program aimed to ease $200 billion in student debt.
New tonight, a federal judge cleared the Justice Department to release materials from the Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking case. This follows the DOJ's request to unseal grand jury transcripts linked to Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. The records could be public within 10 days, but the judge warned that they do not identify other than Epstein and Maxwell as having sexual contact with minors. The release is required under that new federal transparency law, which orders the files to be made searchable and public by December 19th.
President Trump kicking off an economic tour as many polls show Americans feel negatively about the economy. As Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, he's hoping to show voters his administration is working to address their money concerns.
My agenda is affordability.
And how we can ensure deeper levels of affordability.
The president has been lying about affordability, has been lying about the impact of his policies.
Affordability is the new buzzword Democrats are using to keep voters laser focused on the economy. But President Trump is pushing back on claims his policies aren't working.
I inherited a total mess. Prices were at an all-time high when I came in. Prices are coming down substantially.
Tonight, the president is taking his economic message on the road to swing state Pennsylvania to make sure voters know what he's doing to bring costs down.
Everything from gasoline to groceries, and the president's doing every day. He is impressing upon us the need to keep pushing forward.
Trump has also worked to lower prescription drug prices, declared no taxes on tips and overtime, and pressed the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. But Democrats point out home prices and health care are still unaffordable for most.
Tonight, Donald Trump will throw a barrel of hay into the audience and tell them it's spun gold. But the American people know he's lying, because everywhere they look, prices are going up and up.
One thing that would help many Americans, another interest rate cut, which is expected to come Wednesday when the Federal Reserve wraps up its final meeting of 2025. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia saying goodbye to two classic kids rides, the 7-year-old Magic Flyer coaster and Tweety's Escape swing ride will be removed. It's not clear what will replace them, but nearby construction is underway on a new motorbike-style roller coaster.
Coming up, art thieves strike in broad daylight, stealing priceless works.
And security cameras caught it all.
And our summer-like weather pattern continues for a little while longer. Tomorrow, expect more high temperatures in the 80s, but we're going to cool it off finally by the end of the week. I'll have that in my forecast coming up.
The spirit of giving felt in San Bernardino earlier today. 700 students at Muscoy Elementary were able to take a free toy home. This is through a partnership between the Unified School District there, county, and Toys for Tots. Children walked in one by one, chose a toy according to their grade. Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. says he hopes the kids went home with big smiles.
It goes beyond just this moment now when they go home and they can share with their parents the exciting moment that they're having. I think that's just so critical because we don't know what type of financial situations, we don't know what their home life is, but the fact that, hey, we can brighten their day for just a few moments is always special.
Supervisor Baca has been doing these toy giveaways for 5 years. Muscoy Elementary also received a $5,000 check.
He also rocked that Santa hat very well. A group called Families and Communities Together, or FACT, is celebrating their 20th anniversary. Launched back in 2005, more than 1,000 bicycles and scooters have been given out over the last 2 decades. Last year, FACT provided 128 bikes, is aiming for 200 this year. The goal is to encourage children to spend more time outside while providing a way for families to get to school, appointments, and around their community.
In Brazil, art thieves hit a Sao Paulo library, making off with 13 works by Matisse in Portinari. Surveillance footage shows 2 suspects carrying the stolen pieces to a car during a daytime heist Sunday, December 7th. The theft happened while an exhibition was on, and city cameras caught the suspects nearby. Officials have released the footage, hoping it leads to an arrest.
You have any information on that?
I was just going to say it's no Louvre robbery, but it's still in that same ballpark, right?
Yeah. It's a trend.
It's the trend, right? I don't know.
I was just thinking there was some news about the Louvre today, and it was negative news.
Oh.
Now I'm just drawing a blank.
Well, yeah, the security system password was password.
Yeah, right.
Remember that?
No, it was something along those lines, though. I got to look it up.
All right, Adam, we'll get back.
Kind of a news anchor am I.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good tease, though. I'm
yes,
curious to
thank
hear.
you.
Okay, so we're talking about, summer in winter, essentially. It feels very warm. We've got these highs in the 80s. Some people like it, some don't. It's kind of like, it's the holiday season. I think some might want it a little cooler. It is going to back off and cool off as we head into the end of the week. That's our headline number 3. Headline number 1, 80s again tomorrow. And also, not to be lost in the mix right here, we're talking about Santa Ana winds. Those are actually going on right now. A lot of you might not notice because for a lot of the greater LA area, winds are actually on the light side. But notice the color coding here where we have these red colors on the map. So we've got some spots in some of the canyons, mountains, and passes where the winds are actually quite gusty. That'll be the case through the night tonight. Red would be wind gusts over 25 miles per hour. So we're watching for that through the night, and then that kind of tapers off as we go through the day tomorrow. And then by Thursday, we're mostly done with this weak Santa Ana wind event. By the way, there's no wind advisories in effect, so it's not like it's real windy, but some noticeable gusts in some of those spots. All right, temperatures tomorrow. Well, it's going to be probably in the 50s before the sun comes up. Then 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll go 61, then 74 2 hours later, then 81 2 hours later. So a big warm up with highs again in the 80s tomorrow. Here's what it looks like around all of Southern California. So all the orange here would be temperatures topping out in the 80s. This is almost identical in most spots to what we saw today. Very, very warm stuff. 60s would be more common for this time of year. We've got this pattern right here, and I talked about this earlier, but the winds do this clockwise rotation around high pressure, and because of where it's sitting right now, we're getting that wind that's offshore, the Santa Ana wind at the moment. That high will get over us a little bit later in the week, and while that keeps us warm, it also shuts off the Santa Ana wind, so it won't be quite as warm as what we've been experiencing. And then here's the atmospheric river that continues in the northwest. You can see on Futurecast as we continue into Thursday, this pattern pretty much holds. All the rain up there, we stay dry. We go into the weekend, that high moves away, so we cool off a little bit. Still looks like some wet weather next week up into this part of the country, but maybe that track's shifting a little farther south. I'd watch for some rain by Tuesday around, let's say, San Francisco, Northern California, but that's not coming our direction. And the pattern that we're seeing over the next several days really falls in line with what we would typically see in the wintertime during a La Nina pattern. By the way, we have a weak La Nina going on right now, and that tends to push the storm track across the northern part of the West Coast and tends to leave us drier. So that's the pattern we're seeing at the moment. Kind of no surprise in our current weather pattern. Maybe a little surprising to you just how warm it is, though. So temperatures a bit over 80 degrees tomorrow for LA and inland Orange County. Then we see 79, then 77, 74, 71. So every single day going forward after tomorrow, it will get a little bit cooler. Nothing cold, just cooler, closer to normal by Sunday. For the coast, we've got the 70s for the next few days, maybe a little more cloud cover showing up along the coast late in the week and this weekend, and highs in the 60s at that point. Valleys and Inland Empire, we've got 80s for a few more days. I think we'll see the 70s for highs there over the weekend. For the mountains, warm during the day, highs in the 60s, 50s by Sunday. And for the high desert, we've got 71 tomorrow, a couple more days in the 70s and some 60s Sunday and Monday. Finally, in the low desert, of course, temperatures are warm there. Highs in the 80s for the next 7 days. Back to you.
All right, Adam, thank you. We still have more news here at 8 o'clock. But first, a preview of what's coming up when I join you at 9. The Trump administration faces growing concerns over its controversial boat strikes in the Caribbean. Hear what Secretary Pete Hegseth is saying about it all. Plus, a massive benefit for Sean Penn's global relief organization happening right now. We'll tell you how you can help. That's all ahead at 9.
my goodness. If you don't know what 6-7 means, it's okay. We don't either, but the kids, they clearly do. Claremont Unified School District celebrating the 67th day of school with the viral 6-7 trend. Kids made arts and crafts and played games to celebrate. Dictionary.com selected the term as its 2025 word of the year because it reflects the language, humor, and cultural shifts that defined the past year.
In-N-Out Burger has removed the number 67 from its order system. The change comes after that viral meme caused teens to flood restaurants cheering loudly whenever that number 67 or 67 6-7 was called. The trend was tied to rapper Skrilla's song Doot Doot 67 and popularized by NBA star LaMelo Ball. In-N-Out also dropped the number 69 for similar reasons.
Now you know. Oh my goodness, look at this. In New York, a Long Island man is turning trash into holiday treasure, and his dazzling display is inspiring people coast to coast. Andrew Reed's Misfit Island features more than 300,000 recycled and donated Christmas lights. Oh, I love it. For 5 years, crowds of more than 1,000 have visited every night. While it's free, he does accept donations for the Ronald McDonald House, spreading holiday cheer and giving back. Oh, doesn't that just make you smile?
That is impressive.
Very impressive.
It's very impressive.
Can you imagine the bill?
Yeah, right.
Oh my.
The donations for that.
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, that is amazing.
It is.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
I believe we haven't seen that before.
I know. I want to update you on the Louvre news that I was referring to earlier. And so they had the heist a couple of weeks back, and now more bad news for the Louvre. They had a water leak. A water valve broke, and so 300 to 400 items were damaged there as well.
Not a good year.
For the Louvre.
Paris.
They need a new year. It's coming up around the corner. And he's coming up too at 9 o'clock. So don't go anywhere. He's not done yet.
That's right. LA Live News tonight continues at 9. That happens right after the break. Hope to see you there.
across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 9 o'clock, more problems tonight in Newport Beach. That abandoned oil well leaking. It's right in the middle of a residential neighborhood, and now we're being told that homes are at risk of being torn down. Plus, a grand jury hearing evidence tied to the death of a 15-year-old who remains found in singer David's impounded Tesla. You remember that story. And cool in the morning, but the days feel like summer. Meteorologist Adam Kruger with a preview of what's on the horizon.
Right, take a look at the highs tomorrow. This will be just like we saw today. Lots of orange on the map. That means more temperatures in the 80s, but our days in the 80s are numbered. We do cool off a little bit later in the week. I'll have that in my forecast coming up. Phil?
All right, Adam, good evening, everyone. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Phil Schuman, and developing this evening, an oil well abandoned nearly a century ago is now threatening homes in Newport Beach. And we're being told tonight that some houses may even face demolition. Fox 11's Ed Lascos is live in Newport Beach tonight to explain it all. Ed.
And Phil, to quote somebody we all know, drill, baby, drill. And that's exactly what the city of Newport Beach is doing right now, 24/7 for the next 9 straight days. Al, take us into this, will you? This is 36th Street, right off Balboa, the street lined up with all the heavy equipment that they brought in. And at the end of the street, that's ground zero. Look at that. That's a huge oil rig down there. When's the last time you've ever seen something like that drilling in as they're trying to get that old well, tap it, and stop the threat that's continuing through this neighborhood? To the video we go and get you a better look at what we're talking about here. That's amazing, isn't it? 110-foot tall oil rig right in the middle of this neighborhood, right in the middle of the Balboa Peninsula. And it's right on top of that old abandoned oil well that they dug back in the 20s, the 1920s, dormant ever since until now. Last October, it started to spew up methane gas into one of the homes right above it. And then November came that thick, oozing crude oil like tar coming up through the floorboards of not one but 2 homes. Those 2 homes have since been red tagged, unsafe to live in. The city has declared a local emergency. They brought in this oil rig, drilling down 1,000 feet to try to tap that well, clean it out, stop the threat. In the meantime, though, you have 2 homes heavily damaged, and neighbors here, well, they're saying it's a nightmare. Listen.
I think it's very sad for the people whose house has been impacted. My understanding is they've lived here for decades, and suddenly in October they smell methane, and now they've got oil oozing, and it's just super sad for them and sad for the neighbors in the immediate vicinity. They're drilling down, I think, 800 feet, and it's kind of just a hum. It's not horribly loud, but I'm sure the people in the houses immediately adjacent might say otherwise, but I'm actually amazed at how not disruptive it is. There's construction noise around here that's louder.
Now you're looking live at that oil rig, and listening to that hum that the neighbors have been talking about. It's a constant hum as they're drilling down through, and the plan is to get down deep into that well, go 800 feet where the well is, another couple of hundred feet, and then seal it off with a special type of concrete to ease the threat. And you talk about the threat, Phil, because you have all these homes. Really, it's a very tight area here through the peninsula, and then just a block or so over in that direction is the channel. And the last thing anybody wants is any of this oil to seep into the waterway itself. So there's a major operation going on here, and it's going to go on for the next several days as they want to try to wrap this thing up before Christmas and end this noise. But everybody's kind of holding their breath down here, Phil.
So we mentioned the possibility of homes being demolished. I would presume being that the oil just caused too much damage for them to be repaired.
Yeah, that's what the city is saying. The 2 homes that we're talking about, red tagged. Well, they're concerned about, the methane. Is there a concern of when methane, is there a concern of an explosion? You're talking about that oil coming up. They're working with the homeowners who've been in this neighborhood for many, many years, seeing if they could salvage these homes. But sadly, they're thinking in the end they might have to be demolished. But that hasn't been even talked about officially yet. They're really just talking right now about officially shutting down this, getting down, stopping the leaking in that well. And then I think they'll take the next step with those homes after that.
All right, Ed Lascos in Newport Beach, thanks for that report tonight. The music world is shaken by the gruesome death of Grammy-nominated singer Jubilant Sykes. Police say he was murdered by his own son inside their Santa Monica home. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez has that story.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water?
Jubilant Carolyn Sykes singing at Pacific Crossroads Church.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to the blind man?
The well-known voice so many are talking about after finding out Santa Monica police found him stabbed to death at his home last night.
Also in the home, officers located the suspect, who is the son of the victim, who has been identified as Micah Sykes, age 31. He cooperated with investigators and was arrested and taken into custody without incident.
I'm in shock. This community is in shock. My family's in shock. We're in shock. I can't talk about the son. Jubilee was a wonderful person.
It is at least the fourth case of patricide recently. In Simi Valley, police say well-known anesthesiologist Eric Cordes and his wife were fatally gunned down in their garage by his son on December 3rd. The week before, 47-year-old Juan Gonzalez was arrested on suspicion of killing his 70-year-old father in Paris. And in this case, Sykes' wife is speaking with investigators.
The family did disclose that the suspect does have a history of mental illness, but at this time we don't know if that was a contributing factor to what took place.
It's devastating to the community. He is so well known all around the world. People are calling me now, just crying.
Calling Calvary Baptist Church, just up the street from Sykes' house. His family has been attending for generations.
Beautiful family. That's the house his mother and father had. And they moved there, and they constructed and did everything, redid everything. They stayed in the community.
The man had a beautiful spirit, a beautiful heart. And I'm telling you, the man can sing.
The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again.
The church community will miss him. The world will miss him because he was known around the world.
In Santa Monica, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
A memorial service today for Alhambra police officer Alex Sanders, killed in a pursuit crash. Sirens, a procession carrying the body arriving at Shepherd Church in Porter Ranch in the San Fernando Valley this morning. Law enforcement, city officials, family, friends lining the path for the officer's casket into that church. He was with the department for just 8 months, was covering a colleague's shift when he was killed. He'd earlier spent a year with Long Beach PD, leaves behind his fiancée, sisters, and a brother. Only on Fox 11, a viral video sparks outrage, accusing a man of being an ICE agent and stealing a truck. But the real story is different from what you've seen online. Fox 11's Gina Silva has that story from Pomona.
You stole the truck, and I got you on video.
The videos on social media went viral.
They took him in, processed him, and they came back 2 hours later and took the truck.
Activists accused this man, Chad Conley, of being an ICE agent who arrested a man in Anaheim and then stole his truck.
Oh, they're jumping on his car recorded?
I am recording.
The problem is the claims weren't true, but Chad says he's still being targeted by people who saw the viral videos and never heard the real story.
I tried quickly to explain to them right off the bat, we're not ICE. We don't hide. You see our tattoos, you see my face, I don't wear a mask. You can see our license plates. We're not exempt.
Chad is a bail bondsman in Pomona. On December 2nd, he arrested the man who owns this truck. Hours later, Chad says he drove away in that truck because it was being held as collateral. Authorities confirmed it had nothing to do with an ICE apprehension.
He skipped on bail, but they didn't want to hear it. They see it, they're angry, and that's it. They think, who has that power?
People followed Chad to his gym and demanded he return the truck. He's doing this interview in hopes the harassment will stop and to urge people not to believe everything they see on social media.
And it's because they assume things, and there are some people that want to make big hits on the internet, so they'll put anything out there. And right now is really when we need the truth. I mean, the truth couldn't be so much more opposite because I actually help immigrants.
Some of the videos are still online and still being shared. Chad is hoping this interview will finally set the record straight. Reporting from Pomona, I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
A new study says bullying is up and attendance is down as ICE raids create a climate of distress on public school campuses. Researchers at UCLA and UC Riverside found 70% of public high school principals report students from immigrant families express fears about ICE raids. 1 in 3 principals said those students have been bullied. And about 6 in 10 principals say their attendance has dropped, as well as there's been a decline in enrollment. In a statement, the LAUSD said, quote, "We have strengthened safety measures at and around our schools, includes enhanced communication, visible presence in impacted communities, and rapid response protocols should enforcement activity occur." All right, beautiful night out there as we look towards, is that the Queen Mary down in Long Beach, I believe?
Yeah.
And Adam Kruger, chief meteorologist, here to tell us about this, I guess you would call it unseasonably warm weather?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're not hitting record highs, but it's like 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. Pretty significant, feeling more like summer than winter, that's for sure. Pleasant this evening by December standards. We've got many areas in the 60s to around 70 degrees right now. For the rest of the evening, if you're maybe going out for a late night out or something like that, the temperature's just backing off a few degrees, 62 at midnight, and then in the middle of the night to early tomorrow morning, those temps will fall into the 50s. That's as cool as we're going to get. And then look at those temperatures ramp up tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. to noon. That's a 20-degree jump, as again, we're going to be into the 80s tomorrow afternoon, not just for LA, but for most areas inland and even along the coast. Temperatures may top out pretty close to 80 degrees. So very warm again tomorrow. It's the same pattern we've seen lately. We have high pressure controlling our weather, making for warm and dry conditions. And also with the winds going like this around high pressure, notice those wind arrows pointing offshore. We have a weak Santa Ana wind event going on right now, and that continues into tomorrow, which means, again, temperatures will be in the 80s. Now, we're going to cool off a little bit later in the week, and we cool off even more this weekend, but still all this wet weather that's far north, that's likely not going to come our way anytime soon. We'll get to all those details, including the 7-day forecast, a little bit later. Phil?
We got you. Thank you, Adam. Developing tonight out of reports of a fight involving about 100 students outside of a middle school. This is in Linwood. The video from the Citizen app outside Cesar Chavez School. That's on Abbott Road there. Police and firefighters responded. No word yet if there are any injuries or on what may have sparked that huge brawl. Still ahead here at 9, a murder suspect on the run accused of killing a rapper. Police believe he could be hiding right here in L.A. Plus, are you looking for an unusual way to unwind? We have a cozy cat lounge in the OC. You like to relax with dozens of adoptable cats and kittens. Tonight, police are searching for a murder suspect believed to be hiding here in L.A. It's 32-year-old Trayvon Palmer, accused of killing rapper Chris King Cheeks during a robbery outside a Nashville recording studio last year. 2 other suspects already arrested, one in L.A., the other in Nashville, and they are still in custody. If you're a cat lover, we have a story for you. Catnap Hangout in Huntington Beach in the OC is a cozy cat lounge where you can relax, play, and meet more than 50 adoptable cats and kittens. We're told that there are separate spaces for the kittens, for shy cats, for adult cats to roam. They also host fun events like cat yoga and even have movie nights. Founded by animal lover Jane Tolley, the nonprofit relies on donations and volunteers to care for the cats and the kittens.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
People doing all kinds of good things to take care of the animals. Adam Kruger, as we look at a spectacular night over the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, very nice night, very pleasant outside. It's not at all cold, especially considering it's December. In fact, we're one of the warmest parts of the nation right now. We've seen those temperatures in the 80s, and that's going to continue again tomorrow. And a little bit cooler as we head into the end of the week. But again, quiet weather, that's going to be the theme for a while now. Here's a recap of today. Anywhere there was orange, there was 80s. And there's a lot of orange on the map. So we certainly felt that summer-like warmth today. We have 80s again tomorrow. We also have a weak Santa Ana wind event going on right now, which is a part of the reason why it's so warm. We will see a cooling trend a little bit Thursday, Friday, but a little more this weekend. But still, even though it cools, I think we're going to be warmer than normal this weekend. And I'd say, I don't have a specific Christmas forecast yet, but between now and right up to close to Christmas, likely going to be warmer than normal during that entire time. I'll have some proof of that in a moment. Excuse me. Temperatures, though, overnight tonight falling into the 50s. There's a look at the 80s. Tomorrow we have a lot of orange on the map once again. High temperatures for most areas between the coast and the mountains will be in the 80s. Right along the coast might not be too far from 80 degrees. Highs in the upper 70s to near 80. We also have these weak Santa Ana winds, as I talked about. So notice as we go into tomorrow, you can see some red and purple colors in a couple select spots. That's where winds will be gusting maybe over 25 miles per hour. So this is pretty common when we get these, I'd say, weak Santa Ana wind events where it's those locations up towards Santa Clarita up to 5, and then the Santa Susana Mountains into Ventura County and the passes out towards the IE. Those are the usual spots where the winds tend to accelerate through certain locations. Most of us, though, don't feel much of a breeze. So that's the case again for tomorrow. All right, here's our pattern. So we have this large ridge of high pressure overhead. That's why it's so warm and so dry. Notice as we go into the weekend, we're situated between 2 highs. That's going to allow our temperatures to come down a little. And then look what happens as we go into next week. Another area of high pressure comes in. So the long-term outlook, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of this weathercast here. This is the 6 to 10-day temperature outlook. This is put together by NOAA's Climate Prediction Center, and it includes the dates right here, the 15th through the 19th. Well, warmer than normal. It's a pretty good bet, I would say, for a lot of the western U.S., us included. And then here's the 8 to 14-day outlook. So that's December 17th through December 23rd. And again, you know, if you're going to put money on it, I think it's a pretty good bet that we'd be warmer than normal during that time frame as well. High temperatures tomorrow, definitely way above average. Average, by the way, 68 for L.A. this time of year. So that is 15 above normal tomorrow. 79 on Thursday, 77 Friday. We're coming down this weekend, but this is what I was talking about. We're still going to be a little warmer than normal. Then you see the temps kind of swinging back up as we go into next week. Highs for the coast, we've got 70s for a few days. 60s by Friday and into the weekend. I've done a lot of weathercasts so far tonight. 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the valleys and the IE. Saturday, Sunday, we're down to the 70s. Let's round it out with the mountains and deserts. So mountains, we got 60s into the weekend, maybe 50s by Sunday. High desert, low 70s for the next few days. And finally, in the low desert, it is going to be quite warm with highs in the 80s. Phil?
Adam, thank you. Coming up, what really happened during that deadly military strike, the latest one on the suspected drug boat. Tonight, lawmakers demanding answers. The debate over a controversial boat strike continues to heat up, with top administration officials briefing lawmakers today. Fox's Connor Hansen reports.
Behind closed doors on Capitol Hill, Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs General Dan Kane, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio briefed top congressional leaders on those deadly military strikes on suspected drug boats.
What the hell is going on in the Caribbean and in Venezuela? What are their plans? How far do they plan to go?
In September, the Trump administration released this footage of a strike on a boat it says was driven by narco-terrorists. But after the revelation that a second strike finished off 2 survivors, it's unclear if the president or the Pentagon want the rest of the video released.
Whatever they have, we certainly release, no problem. I didn't say that. I saw the video. They were trying to turn the boat back to where it could float. And we didn't want to see that because that boat was loaded up with drugs just like everything else.
President Trump now says he will leave it up to Hegseth whether to release it or not. Select members of Congress have already seen the video in a classified briefing. While some say it vindicated the Pentagon, others are calling for a wider release.
I would predict this evidence will shock the conscience of America. It will shock America's conscience if it becomes public.
Just let people see it. Everybody can make their own decision.
Lawmakers added a provision to their defense spending bill that would limit Hegseth's travel budget if he does not provide that footage to Congress. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Coming up, we're in Santa Monica tonight, where the city has a new mayor and a whole lot of controversy tied to it.
Plus, singer David Anthony Burke's record exec, grilled at a grand jury about the death of that 15-year-old girl found in his Tesla. What the exec is saying when we come back.
across SoCal. This is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
City Councilwoman sworn in tonight as a new mayor despite ties to a controversial plan for a proposed housing development. We're talking about the city of Santa Monica. Let's go live to Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf with the latest. Matthew.
Well, Phil, tonight a lot of supporters there for the new mayor, then others there voicing their displeasure, but it was very crowded for that swearing-in ceremony. Take a look.
My honor to be asked to swear in a very good friend, Santa Monica's new mayor, Carolyn Terrosis. And so without further ado, if you'll repeat after me.
There it is, Santa Monica's new mayor, Carolyn Terrosis. It's essentially just a change in title, though, because the mayor position rotates in Santa Monica, but she does take the helm under some controversy. Some residents question her involvement in a stalled plan to convert 2 high-end Ocean Avenue properties into housing for those with severe mental illness. She has denied her previous knowledge, but new emails obtained by Fox 11 show she exchanged messages about the project last December, about a year before residents found out. And tonight, some residents are concerned by this. Others feel like Terrosis, who is also the policy director for LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell, is best for the job as mayor.
I think it's clear that she hasn't been completely honest with us about her involvement with Ocean Avenue projects, and I feel that considering her position at LA County and now being mayor of our city, you know, that she'll be working more for the LA County than she will be for our city.
I don't involve myself in like hearsay, and I don't really know. What I do know, though, is Carolyn is a good human being who's genuine, and she's going to put the city first.
So the Ocean Avenue project was supposed to be discussed at tonight's city council meeting, but was voted off of the agenda. Reporting live, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
And what was that Ocean Ave project supposed to involve?
Yeah, so it was 2 properties that were supposed to be for housing for those with severe mental illness. That project was put on pause, I want to say in October, and then right before Thanksgiving, more people started moving into the property for interim housing for those recovering from alcohol and drug abuse. And that project has also been squashed since then, so there's been a lot of controversy over these properties.
All right, thank you, Matthew Seedorf. That's something to definitely keep an eye on. The CEO of a major homeless nonprofit has stepped down from a local government board, according to the LA Times. We're talking about Kevin Murphy, former state legislator. He's head of the Weingart Center. He resigned from the LA County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency. There's an ongoing federal investigation. Prosecutors allege a property that was purchased for $11.2 million was sold to Weingart shortly after for $27 million. All that using public funds. The site intended for homeless housing, it hasn't opened. Mayor Karen Bass from Los Angeles, who appointed Murray, is now seeking his replacement. And the LA City Council has instructed city departments to begin implementing a new state law to demolish abandoned RVs. This move comes as LA businesses continue to deal with out-of-control homeless encampments with RVs or without. Fox 11's Nick Garcia with a story you'll only see on Fox 11.
A3 Visual is a well-oiled machine manufacturing banners and signs for corporate and sporting events. But just outside, a homeless encampment makes coming to work here difficult for owner Craig First and his staff.
There's a fire going right now, and this guy is burning something.
My family purchased this property a long time ago, and our intention was to stay here. And that's at risk right now.
The business sits right along the National Boulevard on-ramp to the 10 freeway just north of Culver City.
This is an active on-ramp, and these are lanes of traffic that cars are supposed to be driving in. This mess has been here for over a month, exactly like this.
The land the encampment sits on belongs to Caltrans.
We're all exposed to threats every time we come and leave our work. As an example, the other day, one of the homeless people who was living here came out with a metal pipe and chased off some of my employees, and we were scared.
Coincidentally, as we were speaking with Craig, Caltrans crews were on site cleaning it up. He says this is after more than 2 months of reaching out to the state agency. In another effort to address homelessness, The LA City Council voted to start implementing a new state law allowing the removal and demolition of abandoned RVs worth less than $4,000. As we've reported, people often live in the RVs, which remain parked on the streets for months or years at a time. For Craig, he's hopeful the encampment won't return, but tells us he's not holding his breath. Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
All right, once again, time to check in with meteorologist Adam Kruger. Is it like easier when it's just warm and sunny than the craziness we've had in the air?
It can be, although, you know, for one, there's still the 3 minutes to talk about the weather. We got to have something to talk about, right?
You can go shorter if you want.
Well, I got to piece some stuff together to have a weather story, which I do have a weather story for us, because things are always changing and there's always the microclimate. It's always different no matter where you look. And also there's some other parts of the West Coast where there's some wild weather going on right now. So I didn't really answer your question. I mean, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not. All right, temperatures overnight tonight. Let's start right there. We've got 50s across a lot of our area overnight, which is on the warm side for this time of year. Tomorrow will be another very warm day. We've got sunshine, highs in the 80s. Notice by noon, it's already 20 degrees warmer than what we'll see at 8 o'clock in the morning. So a big jump up with those temps during the morning hours. Here's a look at highs around the rest of the area. Lots of orange, which again means high temperatures in the 80s. Even near the coast, we could find a couple spots hitting 80 degrees or getting pretty close to it. Tomorrow will be the last really warm day, and then we see temps back off a little bit later in the week. I want to show you this, though, the high temps tomorrow across the nation. You'll notice there's a number that jumps out. See that 83 in LA? Of all the places we have plotted, that's the warmest temperature, warmer than Miami, which is tucked behind the little banner in the bottom right there. Miami at about 80 degrees tomorrow. I think South Texas might find some 80s, and some other parts of the Southwest might find some 80s as well. But you get the idea. 83 here, 37 Chicago, 24 Minneapolis. Where would you rather be living? That's an easy choice for me. Okay, so high pressure is the reason why we're so warm. It's also driving these winds clockwise around it, and that's why we see a weak Santa Ana wind event going on right now. We go ahead a couple of days. That high will still be over us, still making for warm weather, but we lose the Santa Ana wind component, and that's why temperatures come down a little bit in the next few days. You may have also noticed on the radar and satellite just constant rain up in this part of the nation. The Pacific Northwest, flooding ongoing with a persistent atmospheric river. Here's the pattern into Thursday. Things don't change up there. Over the weekend, maybe they get a day or two where it lets up a little bit. That high goes away, cools us off a little this weekend, and then here we go into next week, and that track shifts a little farther south into Northern California. Over the next 7 days, when you add up all the rain, we're looking at a little bit towards the end, you know, day 6, day 7, somewhere in that range, probably around Northern California. But look what we have in parts of Oregon and especially in Washington. You see these yellow colors here? Check out the legend. That's representing about 10 inches of rain. And up in the high elevations, I saw some estimates there might be as much as like 10 to 15 feet of snow on some mountain tops up there in the Northwest. Pretty crazy. All right, locally. So we've got the sunshine, we've got the warm temperatures. Tomorrow, 83 for LA, then 79, then 77. So we are going down a little bit. Over the weekend, it's mid-70s on Saturday, low 70s on Sunday. Here we go for the coast. 70s for a couple days. 60s return by the weekend with a little more cloud cover, especially during the morning hours. We might find the marine layer showing up once again. In the valleys, the Inland Empire, we've got 80s through Friday, 70s this weekend. Pretty good stuff. The mountains, highs in the 60s, and then 50s by Sunday and into next week. For the mountains, that was the mountains. How about for the deserts? The high desert, we've got 71 tomorrow, low 70s Thursday, Friday. Not too different, but a little cooler over the weekend. And finally, in the low desert, you know the drill. That's our hot spot, as temperatures will be well into the 80s through the rest of this week, down a few degrees this weekend, but still in the 80s. Bill?
All right, thank you, Adam. New tonight, the general manager of singer David's record label has apparently been questioned in front of a grand jury in Los Angeles. The jury's hearing evidence tied to the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. It's a story we, of course, have been following closely here. You remember her remains were found in David's impounded Tesla in September. TMZ, LA Times, and others reporting that Robert Morgenroth testified yesterday. In addition to being general manager of David's record label, he runs the artist's tours. Witnesses say he walked out of the courtroom talking about his experience on the stand.
Mr. Morgenroth, when he walked out of the grand jury, was in the hallway in downtown Los Angeles at the courthouse, a very open hallway where there were, from what we're told, about half a dozen other people in the hallway, and he was speaking to his attorney, speaking loudly enough that others in the area could hear. And what he told his attorney is that she, referring to the deputy DA who was doing the questioning, she was grilling me about why I didn't call the police. Now, we don't know what he had said before that to the grand jury that led to that follow-up question of why he didn't call the police. What he told his attorney is that he said his answer was, I didn't feel like that was my responsibility to do that, and I just wanted to continue the tour.
Grand jury testimony, by the way, is supposed to be secret. Investigators have not yet confirmed whether David, whose real name is David Burke, is even a suspect in this case, but they have said that he is cooperating. Social media influencer and hip-hop artist Clinton Adams, known as Clinton Lord, is now facing felony rape charges, allegedly assaulting 2 women in L.A. this past summer. The attacks happened in an area impacted by January's wildfires. He says he's not guilty, but does remain in custody on nearly $1.5 million bail. Investigators believe there may be other victims and say that anyone with information about him could contact the LAPD. Adams, if convicted, is looking at a long prison sentence. This woman, posing as an heiress, allegedly scammed nearly $30 million from California banks. 73-year-old Mary Carol McDonald is her name, claimed to have access to an $80 million trust fund tied to the old McDonnell aircraft family. This was back between 2017 and 2018. She reportedly defrauded institutions in LA and Orange counties. The FBI has issued a warrant for her arrest, believes she is in Dubai. If you think you've seen her, they'd like to hear from you. Back here in Southern California, Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia is saying so long to 2 classic kids rides, the 70-year-old Magic Flyer Coaster and Tweety's Escape. Tweety's Escape swing ride will both be removed. It's not clear what will replace them, but construction is underway on a big new motorbike-style roller coaster. All right, new tonight, giving back in a big way. Los Angeles has earned the title of the most generous community in the U.S., California topping the charge as the most giving state. This according to GoFundMe. Here's one example. Pasadena firefighter paramedic Armin Hagopian. He's 29 years old. He was one of so many who responded to the Eaton fire. Well, he was severely injured in an off-duty motorcycle crash that left him paralyzed from the waist down. GoFundMe raised almost $185,000 for him, helping him with, for example, with treatments not covered by insurance. I got a chance to talk with him this afternoon.
I'm forever grateful for what my coworkers and the community has done for me. I mean, even though it hasn't replaced my income and it hasn't given me my job back, it's done more than a lot
than you could ever imagine. People are helping you because you had a career helping people.
Exactly.
Now, this is all an annual report from GoFundMe. The 2 major January wildfires actually resulted in the largest ever donation day for the website, more than $8 million, part of a $200 million total for the 2025 Wildfire Relief Fund. That was one of the top 15 fundraisers ever in GoFundMe history. Another area that generated a lot of donations, the immigration crackdown. GoFundMe, by the way, started as a platform to help fund personal celebrations. That was way back in 2010, and it has grown to be the largest crowdfunding platform there is.
I mean, I think for us, it feels as though we so often hear stories of people turning away from each other, that this Year in Help report is really an example of the best of us and shows that there are people doing great things on each other's behalf every day. In fact, 2.5 times every second around the world.
And those rankings, by the way, are based on people that are repeat donors. LA, the most generous, in addition to needing money to help people after disaster or injury. This new report issued today from GoFundMe found that monthly bills, help with monthly bills, was the 2nd largest category. We're talking about like rent, utilities, and groceries. New tonight, a star-studded night with a mission. We're talking about Sean Penn's nonprofit organization that's called CORE, hosting its first ever live stream benefit concert at the historic Ross House in Los Angeles. The event celebrates Corps' 15 years of global emergency relief work. Performances by Arcade Fire's Win and Regine, Remy Wolf, and others will highlight tonight. Corps has helped communities in Haiti, Ukraine, Sudan, and across the United States. Here's a question. Are COVID vaccines linked to deaths? Up next, the FDA is now investigating claims, including one controversial report that involves children. Plus, a CDC panel just rolled back newborn Hep B shots. Doctors and states refusing to go along will tell parents what actually does and does not change. But first, we are going to take a live look at Dublin, Ireland from our Earth Cam. This is from the Temple Bar Pharmacy in Dublin. Looking good. The FDA is looking into whether COVID vaccines can be linked to deaths across different age groups. This comes after a November claim made apparently without evidence that vaccines caused 10 children's deaths. The Department of Health and Human Services says the review is underway, but details remain unclear. 700 million vaccine doses have been given in the U.S. and serious side effects are rare. That's according to the World Health Organization. Federal advisors say no more universal hepatitis B shots for newborns, but pediatricians are rejecting that, and so are several states, including California. Dr. Michael Daniel joined Marla Tejas in the 6 o'clock hour to break down what it all means for parents and who they should listen to.
A lot of confusion around this issue. So let's just start with this happened Friday. What did the CDC Advisory Committee vote to change, and why is this significant?
So this was the universal hepatitis V vaccine, the one-dose requirement, the overall universal recommendation that's been in place since 1991. And the reason why this was important is because before this, when we didn't have it, it was 22,000 newborns every year were developing newborn hepatitis B. And 90% of them would go on to develop chronic liver disease. So that's chronic inflammation, cirrhosis, multiple hospitalizations, liver failure, all that bad stuff. And so what the committee, and we should say this hasn't been signed off by the director yet, this is just a committee recommendation saying it's no longer universally recommended. And what they're trying to say is that we should be doing more testing of mothers before they deliver, but we tried that before, like prior to 1991, and you could get tested in your first or second trimester and then get hepatitis B in your third trimester and not know it and unwillingly pass it on to your newborn. And also, newborns have a very immature immune system, and so in those first couple of months, even just minor scrapes or cuts at daycare or playgroups can lead to hepatitis B. The amount of blood that it takes to give an infection can sit on the tip of a toothpick. So it doesn't take much. It's a very contagious, highly infectious disease.
What I find interesting is the wording, right? That I was thinking that this was a mandate prior, but it hasn't been. It's just been a strong recommendation. So the panel is saying we're just not recommending it anymore. It doesn't mean that you can't get it.
Right.
So patients need to take their own agency and make this decision on their own, essentially.
Essentially, right. Like nothing was ever forced upon mothers. But the thing is, this sort of served as a safety net, right? That if you didn't have the know-how, you didn't know to ask the questions, you didn't know what was available. And what I think would happen is you'd see cases slip through the cracks. I mean, we don't have a socialized, broad-based medical system like Europe or the UK where, you know, these things can be caught. And so I just worry that a lot of people potentially could slip through the cracks on this.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, hepatitis B, is it considered a sexually transmitted disease?
It can be, yeah.
It can be. Okay, so not always.
It's not always. It's sexually transmitted, bloodborne as well. And so, you know, the biggest risk is that, you know, during the delivery, the mother can transmit that to the baby. And it's just important to get that first dose within 24 hours. The longest you can potentially wait if the mother is negative is a month. But as soon as that, you know, mother after the delivery tests positive, you're running on the clock right away. So the quicker you can get that first dose in. And just to remind parents, this is a 3-dose vaccine. So it's the first one gives you the most protection, but you still need a couple more doses to complete that hepatitis B series in the next few months.
I mentioned this in the intro that the California Department of Public Health came out. They made a statement and said we are still going to strongly recommend this. And also LA County, here we are in LA County, and LA County Public Health said the very same thing. So what is your word to parents who are watching and expecting tonight as they look forward to the birth of their baby?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is they introduced this confusion without any new evidence, and we have decades of experience, and we've seen the data that, you know, to go from 22,000 cases a year to less than 20. I mean, that speaks for itself. And so I really encourage parents to talk to their pediatricians, talk to their OB, their gynecologist, look at the Western Health Alliance, which is newly formed to sort of combat a lot of this misinformation. And, you know, I hate to say this as a physician. I never thought it would come to this, but, you know, we're really getting to the point where I don't want parents to trust the CDC or the advisory committee on something like this or any further changes that they're going to make to the pediatric vaccine schedule. So I think the most important person to talk to right now is your pediatrician, your OBGYN.
It's a tough decision for families as they welcome a new baby into their world. Overwhelming is the word I was looking for.
And just have this misinformation to deal with, yeah.
Dr. Michael Daigneault, thanks so much for being here.
More medical news. A new study revealing where norovirus outbreaks are hitting the hardest. Over the past decade, California reported nearly 325 outbreaks, mostly in restaurants. But that ranks low nationally for per capita cases. Long-term care facilities are the top outbreak sites nationwide, with norovirus spreading easily in close quarters, especially during cold weather and winter gatherings. Move over, pumpkin spice. There's a new flavor taking center stage. Coming up, we'll tell you why black currant is making waves in kitchen and cocktails across America. Before we head to break, let's take a live look at Botswana. Yes, from our Earth Cam, the southern portion of Africa. This is a hideaway called Camp Kazuma, located along an apparently active elephant corridor. All right, let's get into the holiday spirit, shall we? With LA County's Holiday in the Park events now through December 20th. Free festivities at nearly 60 parks all across LA County. Live entertainment, arts and crafts, and actually real snow at 9 locations, although maybe melting quickly this week. For details on times, locations, visit parks.lacounty.gov/holiday in the park. All right, the spirit of giving felt in San Bernardino. 700 students at Muscoy Elementary were able to take a free toy home today, all made possible through a partnership between San Bernardino Unified, the county, and Toys for Tots. Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. says he hopes the kids went home with big smiles.
It goes beyond just this moment now when they go home and they can share with their parents the exciting moment that they're having. I think that's just so critical because we don't know what type of financial situations, we don't know what their home life is, but the fact that, hey, we can brighten their day for just a few moments is always special.
Great work there. We love Toys for Tots. They also received a $5,000 check from that school. New at 9, black currant is McCormick's 2026 flavor of the year. The spice maker says this tart berry, popular in Europe and Asia, is apparently gaining traction here in the U.S. Dishes and drinks, especially cocktails, benefit. McCormick's annual dining trends report highlights what they call, quote, attainable opulence. That's a great term, where Americans indulge in small luxuries despite all of the economic challenges we have. And why not? Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks very much for watching LA Live News tonight. As you know, our 10 p.m. newscast is just minutes away on Fox 11, so please stay tuned and watch that.